You're holding me back. I need a man who earns what he's worth." The words slice through me like a serrated blade, messy and jagged. I stand in our living room, watching Vanessa zip her Louis Vuitton suitcase, the one I bought her for our 10th anniversary. Her platinum wedding band catches the morning light as she tosses her honey blonde hair over her shoulder. No tears, no hesitation, just cool detachment. 15 years, Van. 15 years, and this is how you tell me? My voice sounds hollow even to my own ears. She doesn't look up as she checks her passport. It was never going to be enough, Mark. You were never going to be enough. I watch her swipe my corporate platinum card through her phone's card reader to finalize her first-class ticket to Dubai. My card, my account, my 15 years of careful savings and investments. "This is for a business opportunity," she says, the lie rolling effortlessly off her tongue. "I'll pay you back when I return." We both know she won't be coming back. We both know there's no business trip. And we both know exactly who she's meeting there. Jason Hale, the visionary entrepreneur she met at that networking seminar 3 months ago. The man who promised her everything I apparently couldn't give her. What she doesn't know is that I've known for weeks. What she doesn't realize is that her betrayal has been captured in high-definition audio, backed up to secure cloud storage, and already reviewed by authorities who have a vested interest in her new boyfriend's business ventures. But I say nothing. I let her go. "Take care of yourself, then," I say quietly, not meeting her eyes. She pauses at the door, perhaps expecting a scene, tears, begging, maybe even violence. But I give her nothing. After a moment of visible disappointment at my stoicism, she wheels her luggage through our front door. "The Uber's here," she says. "Don't wait up." The door closes with a soft click that somehow feels more final than a slam. My name is Mark Ellison, 41 years old, civil engineer specializing in infrastructure safety and municipal project management. Not the kind of job that makes headlines or creates billionaires, but steady, respectable, and necessary. I design bridges that don't collapse and buildings that withstand earthquakes. I create foundations that people trust without having to think about them. I thought I'd built my marriage on the same principles. Our home is a modest 4-bedroom colonial in a good school district in Connecticut. We bought it thinking about children that never came. Vanessa blamed fertility issues at first, then my work schedule, then finally admitted she wasn't ready to sacrifice her figure and freedom. I accepted this, as I accepted most things. Perhaps too many things. Now I sit alone in our kitchen, staring at the expensive marble countertops she insisted we needed during the renovation last year. On my laptop screen, I watch real-time bank alerts pop up. $12,450 charged at Dubai duty-free. $4,975 at Gucci in the airport. $750 for airport transportation to the Burj Al Arab. I take a screenshot of each transaction. Evidence. My phone pings with a notification. She's posted on Instagram. A champagne flute in her manicured hand, the Dubai skyline in the background. Caption. New beginnings. Finally living the life I deserve. I tap like and comment. Take care, babe. Enjoy every minute. The surveillance system I installed 3 weeks ago chirps with an alert. One of the recorders in her laptop bag has been activated. I plug in my earbuds and listen. Babe, I'm here. The hotel is insane. You should see the bathroom. It's bigger than Mark's entire sad office. Her laughter feels like needles under my skin. He didn't even fight when I left. Just stood there like a stupid, pathetic robot. A pause. No, he has no idea about us or the accounts. Trust me, he never checks anything beyond his precious retirement fund. When can you get here? I miss you so much. I save the recording. Add it to the file. My hands don't shake anymore when I do this. They did at first. When I found the text messages, when I discovered the credit card charges for hotel rooms in the city, When I first heard her whisper, "I love you," to someone else on our landline while I was supposedly working late. My phone rings. It's Bill Henderson from the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, my former college roommate and longtime friend. "Mark, you sitting down? The material you sent over? We're going to need you to come in tomorrow. Bring everything you have. This is bigger than you think." "How much bigger?" I ask. "That guy your wife's seeing?" "He's been on our radar for nearly 2 years. We've had a task force with the FBI working his case, but we've been missing direct evidence. What you've sent us might be exactly what we need." The federal building in New York is all harsh lines and imposing concrete. Inside, I'm escorted to a conference room where Bill waits with 2 FBI agents and a prosecutor from the U.S. Attorney's Office. "Mr. Ellison," one of the agents says, extending her hand. "I'm Special Agent Carla Morris. Thank you for bringing this to our attention." I place my external hard drive on the table. Everything's here. Voice recordings, bank statements, emails I was able to recover, photos with timestamps. "I'm not sure what exactly you're looking for, but—" "Jason Hale," the other agent interrupts, sliding a folder toward me. "We've been building a case against him for 18 months. International money laundering, wire fraud, securities fraud. Conservative estimate puts his operation at around $40 million moving through shell companies in Dubai, Singapore, and the Cayman Islands." I open the folder. Jason's photograph stares back at me, tanned, confident, with perfectly capped teeth and slicked-back dark hair. Next to his picture is a complex flowchart of companies and transactions. "What we've lacked," Agent Morris continues, "is concrete evidence linking him directly to the operations. He's careful, uses intermediaries, encrypted communications, keeps his hands clean." Bill leans forward. "Until your wife." The prosecutor, a stern woman with steel-gray hair, speaks for the first time. "Your recordings capture him explicitly discussing moving funds offshore to avoid taxation. He mentions specific accounts, transfer methods, even contacts at the banks. It's the smoking gun we've been waiting for." "And what about Vanessa?" I ask, my voice surprisingly steady. "My wife?" The agents exchange looks. "Based on what we've heard, she's implicated as well. Aiding and abetting, conspiracy to commit fraud, potentially identity theft given her use of your corporate accounts without authorization." "Let me be clear about the credit card," I say. "Our agreement was always that my corporate card was strictly for my business expenses only. My company requires signed documentation for any authorized users, which I never provided for her. I have emails where she acknowledges this policy, and the card was used exclusively for her Dubai trip with Hale. No legitimate business purpose whatsoever." Agent Morris nods. "That's helpful. Corporate card fraud is straightforward to prosecute because of the clear paper trail and explicit company policies." A curious numbness spreads through me. Not satisfaction, not yet. Just a cold, clinical awareness of what's about to happen. "What do you need from me?" I ask. "Keep acting normal. Don't confront her, don't alert her. Let her and Hale think everything is proceeding as planned. They're scheduled to return separately. She'll land at JFK on the 27th. He follows the next morning. We'll have teams waiting for both of them." "And in return?" The prosecutor slides a document across the table. "Full immunity for any peripheral involvement, though from what we can tell you're strictly a victim here. Potential for restitution of stolen funds, and our assistance with any civil proceedings you wish to pursue afterward." I sign without hesitation. 5 years earlier. "You know what I love about you, Mark?" Vanessa's head rests on my chest as we lie in a hammock at her parents' lake house. The summer air is thick with the scent of barbecue and sunscreen. "You're solid. While everyone else is chasing trends and burning out, you're building something real." I kiss the top of her head. "Is solid enough, though? Sometimes I wonder if you get bored with me." She props herself up, forcing me to look into her eyes. Don't be ridiculous. Jason from my yoga class drives a Maserati and can't shut up about his crypto investments, but you know what? His wife told me he's on anxiety medication and sleeping pills. He's miserable. She traces my jawline with her finger. I'd take your steady happiness over his flashy misery any day. I believe her then. I want to believe her. Later that night, we make love slowly, deliberately. Afterward, she whispers, "Promise we'll always be honest with each other." "I promise," I say. "No secrets between us." 3 years earlier. "I don't understand why we can't afford this," Vanessa says, pacing our kitchen. The brochure for the luxury Maldives resort sits on the counter between us. $25,000 for 2 weeks isn't unreasonable for our anniversary. I try to explain again. It's not that we can't technically afford it. It's that it's fiscally irresponsible when we're trying to max out our retirement contributions and save for potential fertility treatments. God, you're so boring sometimes. She slams her hand on the counter. It's always the future with you. What about now? What about living? I feel the first twinge of something, not quite suspicion, but unease. Van, we went to France last year. We're not exactly living like hermits. Emily and Robert are going to the Maldives, and the Hendersons went last month. We're not them, I say quietly. We make different choices. Later, I overhear her on the phone. He just doesn't get it. I feel like I'm suffocating sometimes. No, of course I love him, but... I walk away before I can hear more, telling myself it's just frustration talking. For 2 weeks, I perform the role of abandoned husband perfectly. I post vague, slightly melancholy status updates. I tell colleagues my wife is on a business trip. I even send her text messages asking how her meetings are going. Meanwhile, I watch through social media as she lives her fantasy life. Yacht parties, desert safaris, shopping sprees at designer boutiques in Dubai Mall. In almost every picture, Jason lurks in the background, his arm possessively around her waist, his ostentatious watch gleaming in the Middle Eastern sun. Every night I download her new posts, extract the location data, and forward them to Agent Morris. Every morning I wake up to new alerts about charges on my accounts. The surveillance devices continue to transmit when activated. I hear them planning their future. Once everything's transferred, we'll close out the American accounts. Your husband won't be able to trace anything. What about the house? It's in both our names. Sell it. Take your half. He'll never know about the offshore accounts. I feel a little bad about the retirement fund. He's been saving since before we met. Babe, he's a loser who wasted your best years. Consider this compensation. I forward it all. Every damning word. On the night before her return, I receive a call from Agent Morris. We're all set for tomorrow. Customs will detain her immediately. Same for Hale the following day. You should prepare yourself. This might make the news. I understand, I say. After we hang up, I stand in front of the bathroom mirror. I've lost weight these past weeks. My eyes have a hardness I don't recognize. I try to find some grief in my reflection, some sign that I'm mourning 15 years of marriage, but all I see is calm resolution. I sleep soundly that night for the first time in months. The phone call comes at 4:38 p.m. the next day, exactly when Agent Morris said Vanessa's flight would arrive. Mark? Mark, you need to come to the airport. There's been a mistake. Vanessa's voice is shrill, panicked. I can hear commotion in the background. What's happening? I ask, feigning concern. I was going through customs and got pulled into secondary screening. Then these agents showed up with a warrant. They've been questioning me for hours about financial crimes. Her voice cracks. They say I used your corporate card fraudulently and that there's evidence I was involved in some kind of money laundering scheme with Jason. You need to tell them this is a misunderstanding. Her voice drops to a desperate whisper. Please, Mark. The FBI is here. They're talking about pressing charges. That sounds serious, I say evenly. Where are they taking you? Some federal holding facility. They won't let me leave. Mark, please. I can explain everything. Just tell them I had your permission. A male voice interrupts in the background. I hear Vanessa say, "That's my husband. He'll verify." "Mr. Ellison?" A new voice comes on the line. "This is Customs and Border Protection. Your wife is being detained on suspicion of multiple federal offenses. She's requested you as her emergency contact." "I understand," I say, "but I'm afraid I can't verify she had permission to use my corporate accounts. In fact, I've filed reports with my company and the credit card issuer stating those transactions were unauthorized." Silence on the other end. Then, faintly, I hear Vanessa. "What is he saying?" "Additionally," I continue, "I believe she's traveling with stolen property, items purchased with my funds without consent. I'd like those cataloged and held as evidence, please." I can hear Vanessa screaming now. The agent comes back on the line. "We'll need you to make a formal statement." "I'll be there within the hour," I say. Before hanging up, I hear Vanessa shriek my name one last time. I pour myself a glass of whiskey and sit in the gathering darkness of our living room. Not to celebrate, not even to reflect, just to acknowledge the moment when 15 years of trust finally reached its calculated cost. The federal detention center smells of industrial cleaner and desperation. I'm led to an interview room where Agent Morris waits with another agent. "Mr. Hale was detained this morning," she informs me. "He's already asking about a deal." "And my wife?" "Processing now. She's demanding to speak with you." I nod. "I'm ready." They bring her in wearing a Navy detention jumpsuit, her makeup smeared, her designer clothes replaced by government-issue basics. The diamond tennis bracelet I gave her for our anniversary is gone, confiscated as potential evidence. When she sees me, her eyes flash from hope to fury in an instant. "You did this," she hisses. "You set me up." I place my hands flat on the table between us. "No, Vanessa, you did this. I just made sure you couldn't get away with it." "This is insane. We're married." "Were," I correct her. "My attorney filed for divorce this morning. Grounds of adultery and financial fraud." Her face crumples. "Mark, please, we can work through this. Whatever you think you know about Jason and me—" "I know everything," I interrupt, my voice still unnervingly calm. "Every conversation in our bedroom about your plans, every call from our living room to your boyfriend, every message sent from devices I paid for, planning to steal what I spent 15 years building." Recognition dawns in her eyes. "You were recording us? That's illegal." I almost smile. "Not in Connecticut, not in our home, and not when I own the devices. Connecticut is a one-party consent state for recordings, and since these were made in our jointly owned residence where I have a reasonable expectation of privacy, they're admissible. My name is on the deed, the mortgage, and the accounts in question. And as my lawyer confirmed before I installed anything, I had reasonable suspicion of criminal activity occurring in my own residence." I slide a folder across the table. "Here's the legal opinion letter my attorney prepared before I began gathering evidence. The federal prosecutor has already reviewed and confirmed the admissibility of everything I collected." She tries a different approach, tears welling in her eyes. 15 years, Mark. Don't throw it away over one mistake." "One mistake?" "You were systematically draining our accounts. You were planning to sell our house from under me. You were calculating how to maximize what you could take." I lean forward. "You said I wasn't worth anything, but turns out I'm the reason you'll be sleeping on concrete for the next 10 years. Her mask slips completely. "You pathetic, vindictive bastard! You think anyone will want you after this? You think ruining my life will make yours better?" I stand, straightening my jacket. "The difference between us, Vanessa, is that I never needed someone else to make me feel valuable. You might want to start figuring that out during your time inside." As I turn to leave, she calls after me. "I'll fight this." Jason has powerful connections. At the door, I pause. Jason will be lucky to avoid 20 years. His wife found out about you, by the way. She's already filed for divorce and full custody. His accounts are frozen. His powerful connections are currently making deals to testify against him. I can't help adding, those offshore accounts you two planned, they're being seized as we speak. Even your little shopping spree in Dubai is being cataloged for restitution. Her face goes completely white. Goodbye, Vanessa. The divorce proceedings begin immediately, but take 11 months to finalize due to Vanessa's attempts to delay from detention. My attorney files for an emergency court order freezing our joint assets based on the federal indictment, which the judge grants within days. With her assets frozen and facing mounting legal bills, Vanessa eventually agrees to an uncontested divorce. The judge is unsympathetic to her claims of entitlement to our marital assets, especially with the documented evidence of her plans to drain accounts. The court finds the defendant's conduct constitutes extraordinary financial misconduct, justifying an unequal distribution of marital property, reads the final judgment. My civil suit for identity theft and embezzlement moves forward in parallel with the federal case, though at a slower pace. Her expensive Dubai purchases are inventoried by the FBI, held as evidence throughout the trial, then surrendered as partial restitution after her conviction. Jason Hale's empire collapses over the course of 6 months as the investigation widens. His other victims come forward, investors he defrauded, partners he betrayed. His wife, a pediatric surgeon with no knowledge of his affairs, financial or romantic, files for divorce within weeks of his arrest and eventually gains full custody of their children. His assets are systematically frozen and seized. The Maserati, the penthouse apartment, the yacht, the offshore accounts. His reputation in business circles is utterly destroyed. 18 months after their arrests, both Vanessa and Jason accept plea deals to avoid longer sentences. She gets 8 years for fraud, conspiracy, and identity theft. He gets 15 for his larger operation. I sell our house. Too many memories, too many recordings of betrayal embedded in its walls. The equity, combined with the judgment from my civil suit, provides enough capital to start fresh. I launch a small real estate development company focused on affordable housing projects. I find satisfaction in building homes for people who appreciate stability and value honest work. The irony isn't lost on me. 2 years later, I sit across from Caroline at a small Italian restaurant. She's a landscape architect I met through a mutual project. Intelligent, direct, and refreshingly straightforward. So that's the whole sordid story, I conclude, having finally shared the details of my marriage's collapse. I understand if it's too much baggage. She takes a thoughtful sip of her wine. That must have been devastating. It was, I acknowledge. But strangely, not in the way I expected. It wasn't losing her that hurt the most. It was realizing that the person I thought I knew never actually existed. What happened with her? Caroline asks. She's still serving her sentence. She writes sometimes, alternating between blaming me and begging for help. I don't respond. I shrug. Life moves on. You don't seem bitter, she observes. I'm not anymore. Bitterness requires continued emotional investment. I'd rather invest in building something new. Caroline studies me for a moment. Most people would have exploded, created a scene. You calculated the most effective response instead. I'm an engineer, I say with a small smile. We solve problems methodically. Later that night, as we walk along the waterfront, she slips her hand into mine. It feels natural, unforced. There are no grand promises, no desperate declarations, just the quiet understanding between two people who value honesty and integrity. I'm not looking for excitement or drama, I tell her. Just peace and something real. She nods. That sounds exactly right to me. In the distance, the lights of the city glitter across the water. I think about foundations. how the strongest ones are often unseen, how they support everything above without demanding attention or praise. I think about the careful calculations that go into building something that lasts. And for the first time in years, I feel myself looking forward rather than back. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.